you, Mr. Bednarik. Mr. Cobb, do you want to take a stab at that?
Yes, of course. I actually want to take another opportunity to be in fierce agreement with Michael Bednarik about my opposition to the Federal Reserve Board. The Federal Reserve Board has absolutely no legitimacy, yet we, the people, have allowed our economy to be placed in this group of mostly men's hands. And I would urge everyone to read Secrets of the Temple by Bill Grider for an incredible indictment about that institution and how it has literally made economic democracy virtually impossible. Economic democracy, the idea that the people could actually create an economic institutions that would actually work for all of us. So I join in an indictment of the Federal Reserve Board. However, I do not favor the idea of returning to a gold and silver standard simply to return to a gold and silver standard. And as Michael said, I will not give you an answer that you want to hear just because I think you want to hear it. I'm proud to be a member of a political party that will tell the truth as I see it, even if it's a truth that happens to be unpleasant to certain people hearing it.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. Yes.
How do the candidates feel about government-funded space exploration?
Government-funded space exploration.
Well, I mean, I'll start. I think that I am a proponent of exploration and of space in general. But let's be clear, we got some serious issues on this planet that we need to be taking care of. We have a looming ecological crisis. We have literally created a racist, sexist, and class-oppressive world order with the plunder of Mother Earth. We are literally heading over a cliff. We are on a virtual suicide death march with how we are conducting ourselves on this planet. So, although in theory I like the idea of space exploration, I'm of the generation that saw Star Trek, right? I mean, but let's just really grapple with the reality that we have profound, serious problems that we need to address here. Now, the reality is that if we actually would address and grapple with those problems, and if we, the people, actually had the capability and the authority to address the issues that face us, there's actually plenty of money and resources to go around, not only to solve the problems on this planet, but also to engage in space exploration. But unless we get to the systemic nature of the destruction of this planet and the racist and sexist world order that we're creating here, then the idea of exploring space seems a little absurd.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. Mr. Bednarik, would you like to answer that?
I just realized I do have a skeleton in my closet. I spent a week of my vacation at Adult Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. I love space exploration. I love science in general. However, NASA has been in existence for about 40 years. We've only been to the moon a few times, and most of the shuttle payloads are now military cargo. Recently, there was a private enterprise that launched a private spaceship into space called Spaceship One, and the Libertarians were there to meet it on the ground, and they held up a huge sign that said, Spaceship One, Government Zero. This is another clear indication that the free market and private enterprise will always outproduce the government-sponsored ones. So because I do love space exploration, I will take the government's hand off of it, and also any other type of scientific exploration, so that we, the people, can actually advance.
Thank you, Mr. Bednarik. Very interesting.
That are prescribed by doctors, such as Rush Limbaugh, walk the streets, and we put those that use controlled substances, marijuana, crack cocaine, things like that. We put those people in jail. Do you agree with decriminalization of some of these substances, or are you against it?
Do you agree with decriminalization of which substances?
They can touch on any ones that they would like.
You mean?
I'm sorry, decriminalization of illegal drugs.
Decriminalization of marijuana, for example, for medicinal purposes, or just for any purposes?
Just in decriminalization, as far as I believe the Libertarians are.
Are you asking Mr. Bednarik first, or does it matter? Mr. Bednarik, you want to?
First of all, I want to dispel a rumor or a myth that libertarians are pro-drugs. We are not pro-drugs. We are anti-drug war. I have never smoked a marijuana cigarette in my life. Furthermore, I've never smoked a tobacco cigarette in my life. It's just not my thing. However, libertarians recognize that this decades-old war on drugs is a dismal failure. We have more drugs on the street today than we did 50 years ago. The war on drugs is a violation of our liberties. It violates our privacy because police agents can search your home on an anonymous tip. It violates your property because they can confiscate your property, sell it at 10 cents on the dollar, and then keep the money. It is estimated that 50% of our drug agencies in the United States are actually corrupt, participating in this drug traffic rather than trying to stop it. Furthermore, I want to quell the myth that if we were to decriminalize drugs, that there would be rampant, running through the streets, people, hurting each other. This is simply not true. There is a product known worldwide called Coca-Cola, which got its name specifically because it was laced with cocaine and it was supposed to relax the people who were drinking the beverage. And if you do some research, you'll discover that heroin was sold in the Sears catalog, and there's no historical evidence whatsoever that people were causing each other harm. So libertarians are not pro-drug. We are anti-drug war. You own your body. You decide what food you eat. You decide whether or not you drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes, and you should decide whether or not you take certain medicinal drugs.
Thank you, Mr. Bednarik.
Well,
Mr. Cobb.
we'll through the course of this evening, we'll find some things that we disagree on, but this is not one of them. The war on drugs, there is a war going on, folks. It is a war on people. Right? Those people are overwhelmingly poor and people of color who are being incarcerated for a profit. When we start to look underneath the war on drugs, not only is it a dismal failure as a social policy issue, it's not addressing the drug problem that does in fact exist. There is a drug problem. It needs to be addressed as every other public health problem is addressed by appropriate treatment regimens being offered. But to incarcerate for a profit is an absolute pathetic way to address the problem. So the Green Party stands in support of not only legalization of marijuana, but also legalization of industrial hemp, which is one of the great products that could be used right now. It fixates nitrogen into the soil. It's got a myriad of uses, both as a textile, resins, chemicals. Of course, the Declaration of Independence was printed on hemp. Parchment. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were both hemp farmers. All the Yankee Clipper ships, all the rigging and roping and material were made from hemp. I think it's important for us to understand that hemp is illegal just as marijuana is illegal because of Dow Chemical Corporation and the Hearst Corporation's efforts to squash and squelch competition. It is difficult but important for us to understand the depth to which we have been lied to in this country. And I'm proud of the fact that the Green Party opposes the war on drugs. I'm proud of our position on legalization of marijuana and of legalization of industrial hemp. And I, too, want to say that although I don't drink alcohol or smoke tobacco or smoke marijuana, I don't think that incarcerating people who do is very good public policy.
Thank you. Before I take any more questions, I would really appreciate it if somebody could bring some cups up here so that the candidates can. I understand Mr. Cobb has a cup, but you have a cup? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't, so I would like some. Thank you. Somebody could do that. I would appreciate that. Who's had their hand up for a long time? Put your hand up way high. Somebody I've missed. Okay, in the back there, and then I'll take you, sir, after that, okay?
I wanted to ask most candidates
Thank you.
if they think there's too many guns in the street or too few, and if they think there's a problem with the Second Amendment as it stands.
Is there a problem with too many guns in the streets, and is there a problem with the Second Amendment as it stands? Is that what you said? Okay, Mr. Bednarik.
Thank you for this question.